it's not like that. It's like if a graha is in a certain house or a sign, it stays in that house only, and it gives results as per its lordships and that things, and what nakshatra is, and all of that. It gives results as per that only. So but if in a way, if you want to see what the other planets are going to give around that in the antardashas, then you use that as the ascendant, that particular graha, but only in relation to other grahas, not by itself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because what I've heard elsewhere is that when a mahadasha begins, it goes into the ascendant, but then I get confused by that, because if you have like Saturn in like Cancer, say, on your D1 chart, it goes into your ascendant, but then what if at the time when the dasha begins, Saturn's in a different sign?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, that's what the thing is. Whenever any dasha, the ascendant is ascendant anyways for your whole life.
Right.
It doesn't change.
Right.
Okay. So there is no such thing. And I mean, that's what I find. A lot of people are saying a lot of different things, and which confuse people.
Yes.
And I mean, so there's a lot of mess out there in the Jyotish and Vedic astrology thing. And so that's why, I mean, I always wanted to say, when Jyotish was actually taught in the olden times, ancient times, which were like Rishi times, it was not taught like this right now, how it is being taught, where everybody comes on YouTube and says something, then everybody goes and hears that thing, and then, that thing, and then some people write some books, and there's something written in that, and people read all those books, and it's not, and all these people who are writing and sharing this information, they're not taking care of their, basics, or they're not doing the disciplines which a being needs to do with their body, mind, spirit, in order to get to the right information or the right knowledge or the right that thing. So that's why it has become this complex, confused mess, I would like to call it, because there are too many people dabbling it. Too many cooks spoil the broth, and you must have heard this kind of thing. And these are too many incompetent cooks, not just cooks. It is this that kind of scene happening right now. I mean, I think people have to get back to some sort of ancient sort of way of learning these ancient sciences, because these sciences were ancient sciences and they were taught at that time. So the way they were taught at that time, there was a reason why they were taught in that particular way, where you had to do some other kind of disciplines before you started to do these kind of things. For example, even in karate or any of these martial arts, you will not start going into the very advanced techniques to a student, like a beginning student. They'll have to do their basic trainings, body trainings, and I think Jyotish is like the same. Jyotish also requires body training. People don't think Jyotish requires body training, but it does. Like any science or anything which you learn, it requires your body to be trained first. I mean, so I would suggest people do that kind of training first before they even delve into Jyotish at all. Because I mean, it's like beyond martial arts, like the next, mental state. You have to have that state of mind to go into it and properly receive it, the knowledge in it, and properly perceive it. Receiving and perceiving both. You have to be very, very fit in your mind and body to actually go into it. I mean, otherwise it'll be a very crazy mess. Yeah.
So kind of like mind, body, and spirit type of thing.
Yes, Anton. That's what, if you've heard my other interviews, I've been talking about the basics. But what I mean in that is taking control of the body. And then once you take control of the body, your mind comes under your control. And then you go into the science, and you'll come to know the wheat from the chaff, and you'll come to know what is what, and this science very, very quickly. So then there'll be not much confusion and all of that. That's just happening because people are not physically and mentally ready for learning this. They're not at that physical, mental, and spiritual place to actually learn the science, and then they're trying to learn it, and that's where it's going wrong. That's where it's So
when you say like taking care of the body,
Yeah.
Do you mean like what you eat? Like, does it make any difference? Does it matter on what you eat? Because you got
Yes.
a lot that say, you know, don't eat meat and
Yeah.
so
But
many.
it's not just what you eat; it's how much you eat.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
obviously, what you eat is very important, and how much you eat, when you eat, everything. You know, like a discipline. Like, I mean, if you go to a martial arts training school, like, you will have a regime, you will have a diet, you'll have a particular kind of thing. You will not be allowed to, like, you know, like, be indisciplined in any way, shape, or form. Like, so, like, no form of physical indiscipline from, like, forms the beginning thirst and the core of that thing. And then after that, the mind automatically gets into a more disciplined zen centered state when the body is in that state. So after that, getting to the truth of anything becomes more easier. And learning any science, and especially like a divine science like Jyotish, requires one to be in that kind of state. So obviously, like, that's what I've been telling in my interviews, and people have to understand that if they have to go past this kind of confusion, like you were talking about, like people are saying, oh, Mahadasha starts, then that changes, and all of that, it comes from like wrong information, and like, which should not be part of Jyotish in any way, shape, or form. Like,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to Mahadashas, like,
Yeah.
say you're at the tail end of one.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Is there a way to like end it sooner, or it's impossible for us?
No, it's the thing is that like, even if whether you're in the middle or end or anything, taking control of one's own, like, being and actions is possible anytime.
Right.
It's there is no time for that where you can do that. There is, all time is good time for that. So if you do that, then automatically the effect of the graha will be neutralized to a certain extent the moment you, because that grahas don't control your willpower or your will. Okay, so that you have yourself, and you can exercise that in your own discipline through your own will to take control of the situation at the end of the Mahadasha, for sure. Like, there's nothing stopping that.
So you just gotta go. You just gotta go along with it, and don't even try to fight it, or it's just gonna come in, kick your ass.
I mean, because the thing with Jyotish was that, like, people have turned it into a more deterministic science. Okay, when it is basically, it tells you, okay, this can happen, or whatever. This is what the situation is. This is the present situation and circumstance. Okay, now the thing is that what it is asking you to do is, like, from your actions right now in the present, you can change your future, basically.
Right.
So it's not saying that this is going to happen. It's going to happen only if you don't do anything about it, basically. Like, so it's like finally leaves that thing into your own hands. Like, you have the chance to change things as you like that thing. So, like, it's not a fatalistic science in that kind of way, which a lot of people have turned it into. It's nothing like that. It just gives you your sense of your state in the present, and your beingness and your circumstance, basically. And from any circumstance, you can do, like, you can take control of yourself. Like, there is no such circumstance where you can't. Like, I mean, there is no. I mean, even if somebody was in a prison, they can still take control of their body or anything. Like, it's not. Yeah. There's nothing which is stopping one from taking it in charge of one's own self. Like, no circumstances. So, yeah.
What about the divisional charts? Like, is it something ancient? Is it modern? Are they important? Because, like, if you look at a D1 chart, like Jupiter could be like in Taurus, but if you're looking at a divisional chart, it can be in like in a different sign. Like, how does that work?
Okay, the thing is that like, divisional charts are basically more divisions of the zodiac. Like, okay, like, for example, if you get nakshatras, which is 27 divisions of the 360 degrees. Okay, so that's 27. Okay, so like, based on that, then you divide each nakshatra into 4 padas, 4 parts. So then you get 3 degrees divisions. which becomes your D9 chart.
Right.
Okay. Then but you can take each division smaller and smaller. You can divide each of those padas into 4 more parts. Then you can divide them into 4 more parts or anything. You can keep on taking the thing down and down and down, and you will get more and more divisional charts. Basically you are zooming in.
Right.
In simple terms, is you're zooming in. If you want more accuracy on anything, you have to zoom in further, like basically. So that's why it becomes a science. Like it's a proper science where you actually can zoom in and zoom out and find the. But to get into that kind of depth, you need that much time and that much knowledge and that much knowing what you're doing at that level of degree. Like if you go into 1/10 of a degree, or like nature of 1/10 of a degree, what it is, or 100th of a degree, then like you are like going into like very exact nature of time and space
Right.
out there. Okay, so that's what these were about. Okay, that's what the divisional charts are about. I mean, so from D1 to D60, what people know right now, D60 is only just 1 degree only, basically. It's like 1 degree of the 360 degrees. Okay, so but you can go further down than that. You can divide each degree further and stuff like that. But again, in the ancient time, all the knowledge was there up to a very that thing level, like just like a software would be, or a coding system would be. It would be that level of um, clarity about each degree and like divisions of a degree. Yeah.
So everything that you just explained, do you have it like written down in a book, right? You have a book available that teaches all that?
No. I stopped writing books after the Nakshatra one,
Okay.
because what happened was, like, even when I released the Nakshatra one, after that, a lot of people became astrologers just by reading that book. I think there are more than thousands of astrologers who just have read that book, and now they are practicing astrologers. I mean, that book was the introduction to nakshatras and like giving them a knowledge about nakshatras, like the starting point. But it was no way meant for people to become professional astrologers. Like, yeah. But I was just saying, like, anything which I take, or then like a lot of confusion, and on top of it, when a lot of nonsense was created on top of that book. I noticed over the last 10, 12, 14 years.
Yeah.
And I said, like, if I release something now, another thing, and then there'll be more nonsense and there'll be more craziness,
Right.
like, and I don't want to personally fuel that kind of thing.
Right.
Because I want people to actually like start from some like basics and like take control of themselves a little bit first before they delve into these ancient sciences, because otherwise it becomes a mockery of these sciences, which you don't want in any field. Nobody wants a mockery of anything. I mean, even if a person is an engineer or something, if it builds machines or something like that, then a person who doesn't know anything about that, then if they start messing around with that, it will not lead to anything good. Like, it's not something which, I mean, it's a science. It should be like treated like one and not turned into like a sort of a farcical joke, which it has become. Like, and this bookish knowledge also, like, in book only you can write so much or give so much information.
Yeah.
This is not how this information was done. Like, this was done in like rishis would deal with those students personally for 5-10 years, and they'll be continuously telling them things. So it is like continuous listening and learning, and like, it's a process like that. It's not just like you just put one book. Like, I mean, in nakshatras also, I put in like whatever I could at that time, but that's not enough. Like, that's not enough thing. Like, books can never do that, like what you can learn over a period of 10 years, or like in a that kind of system where you're learning directly from the being you're listening to. But again, that is a very disciplined kind of system in which that kind of learning takes place, an environment, and it's not, like, people are not ready for that kind of discipline in this day and age. Like, it's more become like everything's like a fast food sort of situation, like you want something quick, like, like 2 minute sort of thing, and like, just tell me that and I'll be done and gone. But it doesn't work like that, especially with these sciences. I mean, and I think Jyotish should be treated like a proper science, like how a laptop is built or a computer is built or something like that. Like, not in a way it is being treated right now. Like where anyone can come and say anything. So yeah.
Well, with you know, time and dedication and discipline, how long do you think it should take anyone